Margot Berg with the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, and I'm very pleased to welcome you today on behalf of the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy and the Office of the City Representative as we kick off the 2014 Philadelphia Jazz Appreciation Month. This is the fourth year that we have had the honor and privilege of officially ushering in Jazz Month and paying tribute to one prominent individual in the world of jazz. First, I want to acknowledge the great musicians that we just heard, the Francois Zayas Trio, with Mr. Nimrod Speaks on bass, Nimrod, Mr. Gerald Chavez on trumpet, and Francois Zayas on percussion. A special thanks goes out to Homer Jackson and the Philadelphia Jazz Project for connecting us with these amazing musicians to bring jazz music to this morning's event. I know that you heard them as you were waiting and as you came in, but I think we need to hear them again, and I don't think the mayor got a chance to hear them with our full attention. So if you would, the Francois Zayas Trio again. Month is held to honor and to shine a light on jazz music as the uniquely original American art form that it is. Jazz Month focuses attention on the extraordinary heritage and history of jazz and its role in the making of 20th century America and its vibrant presence in the world today. And here in Philadelphia, a city that played a leading role in the development of jazz, Jazz Appreciation Month gives us an opportunity to celebrate our remarkable jazz history, support our rich jazz present, and build our exciting jazz future. As someone who grew up in a house in which the music of Art Tatum or Miles Davis or Thelonious Monk was always playing, and still is, I feel particularly honored to have the opportunity to help kick off Jazz Month today. We are so fortunate in Philadelphia to have the opportunity to hear great live jazz, in addition to all of our other arts and culture offerings. We are also quite fortunate to have a mayor who not only understands the importance of arts and culture to this city and to its people, but who also works tirelessly to foster that understanding. It is my pleasure to introduce to you that mayor, Mayor Michael Nutter.
Good morning, everyone, and Margot, thank you very, very much. Sorry to hold you up, but I was having some wonderful private moments with Mr. Golson, and we're going to have him up in a second. What a tremendous honor this is for all of us. To Margot, our Public Art Director, to all the folks from the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, and certainly to our special guests, the Office of City Representative, and some family ties with our Chief of Staff and Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Everett Golson, and Stephanie Marsh over in the Legislative Affairs Office. As Margot said, I also grew up in a household where music was a big part of everyday life, and certainly all kinds of music, but I do, in fact, love jazz. Jazz is America's most authentic and original gift to the arts. Philadelphia's history is full of great jazz musicians and composers who have become successful right here in this city and all around the world. The roots of that jazz music planted in Philadelphia are strong and deep. And when we talk about it, of course, we're talking about John Coltrane and Dizzy Gillespie, Clifford Brown, Philly Joe Jones, and we're proud to acknowledge them and so many others. Across the country, our city is known as the place where much of this genre of music got started. Music venues like Pep's, the Clef Club, the Cadillac Show Bar, and the Aqua Lounge, just to name a few, all right here in Philadelphia, will long hold the reputation of being places in the spaces where artists developed their own signature styles. Many of these renowned artists have gone on, of course, to build international reputations and proudly give Philadelphia our due credit for fostering and supporting their talent. Some of these music stars have taken part in established music programs in Philadelphia, such as the Settlement Music School, where generations of Philadelphians began their musical educations. And as Margot introduced them, and I want to ask that we give another big, big round of applause to Francois Sayez, a North Philadelphia group right here in Philly. Many others have been involved with the Philadelphia Clef Club, a place where young musicians can study and play among the leaders in this genre of music. With all that history, it's fitting, of course, that Philly honors Jazz Month every year. So I'm pleased and proud to honor one of our legendary musicians with a special Philadelphia recognition. A composer, arranger, lyricist, producer, and world-renowned tenor saxophonist, he has played in the bands of world-famous musicians, including Benny Goodman, Dizzy Gillespie, Lionel Hampton, Earl Bostic, Art Blakey. He has composed music for countless jazz superstars, from Count Basie to John Coltrane, Miles Davis, and Quincy Jones. His innovative mind and creative spirit have helped to completely redefine the meaning of jazz through compositions that are currently being recorded by an entirely new generation of musicians. I always, Mr. Golson, I love listening to all kinds of music, as I mentioned earlier, and sometimes young people, either in the car or in my office, they'll hear me singing some tunes. They'll say, "How do you know that song?" I said, that song is older than you. You're just hearing it for the first time, and it's coming back on you. Since his career took off in Philadelphia in the 50s, he's recorded more than 30 albums in the United States and Europe and written more than 300 compositions. Now, my notes say your age. I'm not going to get into that. But he's been around for a little while, and he's still playing his beloved music. He's found time to lecture on campuses like New York University, Howard University, and the Juilliard School. Without further ado, let me introduce to you, before he flies off to a concert in Amsterdam, Benny Golson, tenor, saxophonist, composer, educator, and jazz legend. And please, Mr. Golson, come on up. This is, of course, the most iconic symbol in the United States of America. I can't give you the real one, although we do own it. But I can give you this one, and it actually has your name on it, and this one works. You see the excitement on his face. Some people actually really do have a great appreciation for the Liberty Bell. It's my honor to give you one on behalf of the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. May freedom and liberty and music ring all around the world. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please.
I remember once when I was in grade school, we took a trip and I actually saw this once. Can't tell you what an honor it is to be here. I never imagined that anything like this would happen when I was learning how to play my saxophone on Page Street and driving all the neighbors crazy. But things happen. You know, once a bell is rung, it can't be unrung. So I, like so many other musicians, had to be very careful as we were moving forward, measuring each step, calculating what would happen, dealing with what if, with maybe and perhaps, and then one day it all comes together, bit by bit. Yeah, it didn't happen overnight. It took a long time. We speak about John Coltrane all the time. People don't know that when John and I first started out, we got hired in the local big band here, Jimmy Johnson and his ambassadors, because before that we were just practicing in my living room, driving everybody crazy. But we finally came out of my living room and were performing before people. The music was kind of corny, but we were moving ahead, and that's what we were concerned about. And we thought we were doing pretty good, and we weren't quite up to it, and we both got hired at the same time, and we both got fired at the same time. Yeah, that was very depressing. And I remember we were standing in my living room. We didn't even sit down. We were just standing there when we found it out. And my mother saw us, and she came in, and she saw us in this pain. And I wanted to cry. I was so hurt. And I know John wanted to cry, but we were too hip to cry in front of each other. She came in, and she put her arms around both of us, and she squeezed us. And she said, "Don't worry, baby. One day, both of you will be so good that these guys won't be able to pay you enough money." And we didn't believe it, of course. But time went by, and John and I wound up at Newport Festival. This is many years later. He had just formed his quartet, and somehow he had bought this soprano saxophone and recorded My Favorite Things. And Art Farmer and I had put the jazz tet together. And we happened to be warming up in the same room, the tent, actually. He was warming up on his soprano, and I think I was looking for a reed. And suddenly he took his horn out of his mouth and started laughing hilariously. And I said, "What? He said, "You remember what your mother told us?" I said, "What?" He said that one day we'd be so good they wouldn't be able to afford us. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, those guys were still in Philadelphia and we were at Newport." Those kinds of things do happen. And here I am back again. Now I have to tell you this is very personal. Before I knew anything about music or anything at all in life, I was 5 years old. I lived at 1700, I think that was the address, North Gratz Street. on the second floor. And on the first floor, my mother's friend had a daughter who was 6 years old. And the two of them decided to let us go to the movie, which was the Ideal Theater, later became the Vogue, at 19th and Columbia Avenue. It's just a half a block from where we live. And we went to the movies alone. And she held my hand as we went and as we returned. And we're much older now. She was Thelma Anderson then, Thelma Wilson then, but now she's Thelma Anderson. And there she is. Can you stand up? And I'll tell you, we didn't see each other for years and years and years. I mean, since we were kids. And a few years ago, this woman walked up to me, and I said, Thelma Wilson. But of course, her name was Thelma Anderson then. I recognized her right away. And it turned out that we both fell in love with jazz. Can you believe it?
Yes, I do. It's so good to see you. Yes, indeed.
You are too good, sir. Thank you. Stay right there. Sure. So I have a proclamation. You want me to stand over here for a photo? Okay, if you insist. All right, okay. Come on. We have to take this photo right now. So, stay right there, stay right there, stay right there. Everybody stay right there. Let me just do what I'm supposed to do. Okay, here we go. And so now, I'm going to read part of this proclamation. So you've all seen these proclamations. I stay up very, very late at night writing these personally. That is so not true. This is from the Office of City Representative. They do that. And I'm only going to read a part of it. But I need Mr. Homer Jackson. Come on over here, sir. This is a proclamation from the City of Philadelphia. Philadelphia provides rich opportunities for jazz education in the music programs offered by our colleges and universities. The growing community of jazz musicians, venues, institutions, and organizations work collectively to preserve our jazz heritage and teach the art of jazz to a new generation, the future of jazz in Philadelphia. An initiative launched in 2002 by the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History designated April as Jazz Appreciation Month in America. In April of 2010, the United States Conference of Mayors called on its member cities to designate a day in April as Jazz Appreciation Day. Philadelphia is proud to observe its 4th annual Jazz Appreciation Month, which culminates this year with Jazz Day on April 30th. Therefore, I, Michael A. Nutter, Mayor of the City of Philadelphia, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2014 to be Philadelphia Jazz Appreciation Month in Philadelphia, and urge all of our citizens to be aware of the vibrant experience of jazz in Philadelphia and invite music lovers everywhere to join Philadelphians in celebrating and enjoying Philadelphia Jazz Appreciation Month at the multitude, and it is a multitude, I've seen the schedule, of participating venues presenting jazz events throughout the city. This is signed by me as the Mayor of the City of Philadelphia. This is an official document of our great city. Happy Jazz Appreciation Month. Over here? Okay. Down. Okay. Yeah. So, Mr. Golson told you a little bit about this young lady next to me, but I apparently have to share a few other things. Miss Thelma Anderson. She's here with us today, and Miss Thelma played a huge part, as Mr. Golson has mentioned, in shaping his life as a Philadelphia-born musician and helped him become the success that he is today. Now, well, someone's going to get embarrassed when I say this part. She was Mr. Golson's babysitter for many years, as well as a loyal employee of the city of Philadelphia, which is where I knew her. Thank you so much, Ms. Thelma, for your contribution to the city and for encouraging Mr. Golson to practice his music lessons. And so on behalf of the city of Philadelphia, we say thank you to you as well. Please give it up for Ms. Thelma. They don't know how old you are. Don't worry about it. You look great. Margot, I think you're back.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Nutter. Well, thanks to the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy and the Office of the City Representative for arranging this event today. And we've put together a listing of jazz events happening throughout the month. If you didn't pick one up on the way in, please stop at the table on the way out and grab one. There's a lot of music to hear, a lot of events to support this month. And I'd like to thank you all for coming today. Remember to go out and hear some great jazz during Jazz Month, and go to our website for more info, creativephila.org or philadelphia.jazznearyou.com. And in addition, outside the mayor's office, we have a Jazz Month display. So if you'd like to check that out on your way out, that'd be great. And finally, I'd just like to ask Francois Zayas Trio one more time to play for us as we head out. Thank you, everyone.